Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 6. Module 6 is your first essay for the class, so it is going to take you a little bit longer to complete this module and it will be a little bit more challenging. You do want to start right away. There are 2 assignments related to the essay itself, and then a pre and post writing assignment. So I'll go over them and kind of talk about what to expect. So like I said, starting early is a good idea. Got a couple of things to look at. First, there is some readings that you can look at in order to just help you out with writing the essay itself. In your textbook, there is a whole section on writing about literature, planning and drafting and revising an essay. And then there are 3 model essays. The first one, it's called The Secret Lion, is a good example of the type of essay that you're writing, which is a fiction analysis. So I'll go over the assignment itself. Here's the assignment. So this assignment is what you're going to be doing for the essay, and I have that separate as a separate page from the submission spot because I want you to be working on it throughout the week. Some students will just kind of like, they'll see the assignment, they'll do it, and they'll just turn it in like that without taking the time to go through the writing process. And so this is hopefully going to encourage you to think about the process itself and everything that goes into writing an essay as opposed to just doing, sitting down, slapping something on a page and then turning it in. So you're writing a 5-paragraph essay that is an analysis of one short story. So your first thing you need to do is decide what short story you want to use and then what elements you want to use to help analyze the story. So you want to pick, I would go with the story that you liked the most, or one that you feel is like there's something pretty obvious that you can use to analyze it. So you might do the necklace, and your analysis is going to be based on the central character or something like that. So use of character in the necklace, or use of symbolism in the lottery. So you're picking one story and then one element to help analyze it. That's the most challenging part, I think, is a lot of students will get into this and they'll want to do an analysis using multiple elements. And that's not really what I want, because that's going to make an unfocused essay. We want something that's really focused on what is that specific element, how do you see it portrayed. So the example in the textbook is The Secret Lion, and you could see his thesis is that the secret lion is a story whose key symbols reinforce a central theme that change is inevitable and always accompanied by loss. So we know that in this story, we're focused on symbols. And how those symbols show the central theme. So something similar is what you want for your thesis, what is the central element that you're going to analyze, and then how are you going to, what sort of things are you going to look at within the story to show that. You want to avoid first person because it's not about you, and second person because it's not about the reader. It's about the story. And obviously, since you're writing it, we understand that this is your opinion. You are using critical reading and analysis rather than retelling the plot. So that's the second major mistake that students make, is they just tell me what it's about. And I can read the story, I can figure out what it's about. What you are doing is telling me why you think the author created the story with an emphasis on this specific element. And so one of the things that you might do is go through, you're reading all of these different stories. If say you're interested in characters, you like the use of round and flat characters or something, go through, these are 4 really good examples of stories that have different types of characters that would be really easy to analyze based on different types of characters. So that might help you as well. So just be thinking about, how can you represent, how did this author represent this particular element within their story and why? Analysis is really about breaking something down and trying to understand those parts and how those parts make up a whole. So what are these different symbols? What do they mean? How do they add together to create the story? That kind of thing. So the first thing that you're going to do, once you've read through the assignment, you've chosen your story, you've chosen your element that you want to analyze, the first thing you're going to do is plan your essay. You have 3 ways to plan, and that is you can do a free write, you can do a cluster map, or you can do an outline. or you can do all three. That's totally fine. Personally, I like to do a free write first and then an outline. Cluster mapping is not something that I particularly enjoy, and I don't feel like it helps me, so I tend not to do it. But if it helps you, I absolutely want you to do that. We do this program over here. It's called Lucid, and it actually creates cluster maps for you. I was just playing with it earlier. You can create your own cluster map and then share a link to it, which is really cool. It works through Canvas, but you have to share the link separately. So pre-writing wise, I've got some examples down here and some tips for doing that. And so I encourage you to do this early on and submit it. If you've submitted it and you want feedback right away, you can always send me an email. Sometimes it takes me a few days to see that somebody's submitted, and so I don't always get to them right away, but you can send me an email if you submitted like an outline and you want my feedback. You can do that. Once you're done with the essay, so you've written it and you've turned it in, then you have the option to do one of these post-writing assignments. A post-writing assignment is a reflection on what you did, what part of the writing process you completed, how it went for you. Did you enjoy? What did you like? What did you not like? You can write this in a form of a letter to me. You could just do an essay reflection, or you can record a video. If none of those really feel like they work for you, you can always set up a conference with me and we can talk about your essay. That works too. So just keep in mind that you're going to do some kind of post-writing thing after you're done with your essay. Some students will submit this is a separate file, and that's fine. So they'll do the pre-writing first and then the post-writing. I will be able to see every file that you submit, even if you can't. So just keep that in mind. Because this assignment has a free write in it as an option, it's AI use 0. You're expected to have errors in it if you do the free write. You're not doing it correctly if you don't have any errors, which is like the only time I will tell you that in writing. So then the last thing that you're going to do is submit the actual essay. A couple of things to go through. I do have a works cited example for you, so you can copy and paste this straight into your essay and just change the author, the title, and the page number. Don't use AI to create your works cited example because it will be wrong. And so I've got all kinds of weird versions of the documentation for that. Just copy and paste what I made for you. And then there's lots of examples of formatting, source use, etc. That you can look at. And then there's also some information for accessing BrainFuse, which is over here on the side, BrainFuse Online Tutoring. When you click on that, it'll bring up this page with Writing Lab, and you could submit your paper. They do need at least 48 business hours to respond. So if I would send it like midweek, so you can get it back by Friday and get your essay finished over the weekend. But just really important that you really think about, like, if you're planning ahead to get that feedback, making sure that whoever you're planning on getting feedback from, whether that's me, the instructor, or a friend, or doing the online writing lab, making sure that you are planning ahead for that. So this is an analysis essay, so you click on that, and then you'll just give them some information where we write with MLA 9th edition style, and then you can give them the directions for the assignment, and then tell them what you're having trouble with, and then browse your file and upload and submit. So that's an option. It's not required, but it is a really good idea. And then the last thing in here is where you actually turn in the essay. So you'll start assignment, turn in your file, make sure that everything's been proofread. When you grade essays, I use a rubric, and the rubric basically is the criteria for the assignment and what it means to be writing at the level of excellence versus writing at the level of novice, and then somewhere in between. And this semester, I've added an AI level to all of my rubrics, which basically means if you are using an AI program to write your essay for you, or using an AI program to make a lot of the corrections. So like you're in Grammarly, you accept all the corrections, it's basically rewritten your essay for you, then you're going to score at the AI level and your grade will drop dramatically. So if you're at AI, you're going to be basically at an F. It'll be half credit for it. So just keep that in mind. I am looking for authentic writing. If there are errors in your essay, then that's okay. Because I want to be able to show you where you can improve your writing. That's the purpose of any type of English class. I would rather see an essay with errors in it that has good content than something that you slapped together using an AI program. So just keep that in mind as you're going through this essay. If you have questions, if you want me to look over a draft of your essay, you're more than welcome to email it to me. It is not cheating to have me look at a draft before you turn it in. So if you have any questions, send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.